Let's call this meeting to order. City of North Kansas City, Missouri, regular council meeting, March 20th, 2018. Can we have a moment of silence? Comments from the public? Come up and state your name and where you live.
Mayor, my name is Shane Wright, and I have a small curbside glass recycling business that I wanted to introduce to the leadership of North Kansas City tonight, if that's good with you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be brief. Wright Brothers Curbside Glass Recycling was founded in 2015 based on two facts. One, glass is 100% recyclable and can be recycled endlessly. And two, glass takes thousands of years to fully degrade in a landfill. Kansas Cityans consume 80,000 tons of recyclable glass per year, and we only recycle 20% of that glass. We started in Southern Platte County in 2015, and we've grown from 0 to 250 customers by offering the convenience of glass recycling at the curb at a very affordable rate. I'm starting to head this direction, and I thought what better way to introduce myself to a community than come to the leadership of that community. Born and raised in Southern Platte County, so I'm a fireman. This is a side business for me and it's a passion, keeping glass out of the trash. So
okay.
I brought some information for you all, if I could share it with you, and that's my business.
If you can get it to Eric, he can get it to all of us. He can email it and get it out to us, so that'd be awesome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Moving on. Consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 8.
Auditor's report on the fiscal year 2016-2017 financial statements.
Mr. Eric.
Thank you, sir. The city auditor, RSM US LLP, has completed its audit of the city's financial statements for the last fiscal year. It's here to present its report on those statements to the city council tonight. So I will at this point introduce Kevin Smith of RSM US LLP.
Thanks, Eric. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. As Eric mentioned, I'm here to present the results from the city's 2017 financial statement audit. An audit is required every year by state statute, and the city has engaged RSM to perform that independent audit. There's a small presentation I'm going to go through. The other documents that you have in front of you is the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. Some refer to that as the CAFR. So that is the financial statements, which includes our audit opinion, but I'm going to focus tonight on this brief presentation and then just go through any questions that the City Council may have. So again, I'm going to go through the required communications to the City Council first, and then I've got just a few high-level financial slides that we'll go through as well. So if you turn the slide to the next page, you'll see a letter in your packet from RSM addressed to City Council that includes some information that we're required to communicate to you at the end of the audit. So I'm going to run through these bullets real quick. The first item talks about the auditor responsibilities. The main purpose of our audit is to express an opinion on the financial statements of the city. So the city and city management have the responsibility for the financial statements. They put the financial statement and the financial information together, and we audit that information to make sure that they're in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So the opinion that you see within the financial statements from RSM is an unmodified or a clean opinion. That is the highest level of assurance that you can receive from a financial statement audit. One of the bullets here talks about new accounting standards. There were no new accounting standards this year that had a significant impact on the city's financial statements, so you'll see consistency from this year to last year. There were only a few audit adjustments that we had to propose as a part of the audit process. Those adjustments were not material adjustments, and they related to some cutoff issues at the end of the year, so nothing with respects to cash or not reconciling certain things. It was strictly generally accepted accounting principle cutoff issues of when expenses get recorded in which period. We had no disagreements with management. We received full cooperation from everyone that we worked with, did not have any difficulties performing the audit, had access to all of the information that we requested from the city. One of the letters that you'll also see in there is a report on internal controls. So the purpose of our audit is to not give an opinion over the internal controls of the city, but we do look at controls as they relate to financial reporting and the financial statements of the city. And if we come across any sort of significant deficiencies or material weaknesses, we have the responsibility to report that in writing to you all. And you'll see within that letter, there is one item reported as a significant deficiency. This is an item that has been reported to you in the past, and it is as a result of limited staffing within the city's finance function, so that there are limited individuals involved with some collection and reconciling and depositing of cash. So there's a risk out there of misappropriation of assets. Now, we do believe there are mitigating controls in place that keep this from being a material weakness. So again, this is just to bring to your attention that there are some segregation of duties issues out there, but the city has done what they can with the limited resources to mitigate those risks. And again, we didn't come across any sort of misappropriation or fraud or anything like that, but that risk is out there, and so that's what you see in writing there. But no new deficiencies that haven't been reported to you in the past. And the next few slides focus on the city's general fund. As the main focus of most of the users of the financial statements is the city's general fund. The first slide here shows a summary of the revenue of the general fund. And you see about a 3% increase in revenue over 2016. So revenue increased from about $14.1 million to about $14.6 million. The city receives the bulk of its revenue, probably about 75% of its revenue from taxes, and then the gaming and lease revenue of the gaming facility. And so you'll see some changes between the different categories of revenue, but no significant changes from 2016.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
On the tax category, how much of that differential of about $200,000 is a public safety sales tax increase?
None,
Okay.
because that came into place October 1st
Afterwards.
at the very beginning of this fiscal year.
Okay, that's good, because this really kind of shows that we're offsetting at least and actually gaining some revenues that we've been losing a little bit on the gaming side, since gaming has over time decreased a little bit, so
Correct.
that's good.
And there's, even in the back of the CAFR, there's a section called the statistical section where there's a 10-year history of certain revenue and expenditures of the city. So that's another great place to go to see kind of a historical trend
Okay,
of
so
some of the financial
2018 should
information.
look even, assuming everything keeps going well, it should look even better because of this public safety.
Well, we
sales
do
tax.
have that additional funding source, yes,
Right,
ma'am,
yeah,
from the additional
exactly.
tax. Yes.
That's good. Thank you.
Then the next slide shows the expenditures by function of the city's general fund. So a very modest increase in expenditures over last year, going from $13.3 million to $13.4 million. So about a 1% increase over last year. Here again, you see about 75% of the city's expenditures are related to the public safety function. And there you saw just a very slight increase in expenditures with all of the other categories remaining very consistent over 2016. And then the last financial slide just shows a snapshot of the city's general fund as of September 30th, 2017. The fund balance of the general fund as a result of those increase in revenues and also a slight increase in expenditures did increase by 1.3 million. So it increased from about 11.2 million to 12.5 million. The bulk of the general fund, so that's the blue section of in the bar graph, it's unassigned funds, so they're not restricted for a specific purpose. You'll see a very slight, some small restrictions there in yellow that are restricted by outside parties, but the majority of the city's fund balance in the general fund is unassigned or unrestricted. So that's all I had, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the audit process or anything within the financial statements or this report.
Well, thank you for the report. You know, in my opinion, few things are more important to a city than to have a clean audit. If people are watching this over the television or internet or whatever, they should rest assured that the city's doing what they can, the way they're supposed to be doing it, and you can rest easy that the governing body is doing as best we can to keep things going. Relative to the one important thing that you talked about, the lack of a number of people to take care of certain things, that's been a kind of a perennial problem, and I don't know whatever happened to address that, but we do the best we can. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have one quick question. Sorry, I just thought of something else. On the unassigned, the general fund graph, when you say unassigned, we probably have some of that money earmarked, you know, for certain projects, but because there's no legal obligation, it's considered to you unassigned. Is that how that works?
For GAAP purposes,
Okay.
there's these specific categories are where the fund balance falls into. So if you've budgeted for certain things or earmarked certain things, it doesn't necessarily translate over to an assignment or
From
a
an accounting
restriction.
perspective. Okay,
Yes.
so it's considered unassigned for you when you do your audit.
Correct, because you've got the flexibility to change those funds, to earmark them for something
Yeah,
else,
if
right?
needed. Okay,
Yes.
thank you for that. And I agree with Councilmember Sanders. Great job, and great job to staff for managing the audit and also for performing as well as we've done.
Amen.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
You know,
Number 9, Budget Amendment, WPC Fund, Kansas City Sewer Charges, Resolution Number 18-016.
Eric.
Thank you, sir. At your last work session 2 weeks ago, we did report to you that a malfunction of the master magnetic meter that measures the volume passing through the Bedford pump station occurred sometime in the past, resulting in undermeasurement of sewer flows to the city of Kansas City. We did replace that meter once it came to our attention that there was an issue with it, and it is now measuring sharply higher flows, which do result now in a need to amend the Water Pollution Control Fund budget in the estimated amount of $1,666,041. So we do have a budget amendment before you accordingly.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 10, Budget Amendment, Exhaust System, Fire Stations 1 and 2, Resolution Number 18-017.
Eric.
Thank you, sir. I'll call on the Fire Chief, Dave Hargis.
Budget amendment, the number 9 and number 10 kind of go together. We have the budget amendment for the exhaust system for our vehicles at Station 1 and Station 2. It was budgeted in the 2017 year, but the project was not completed and the money was not encumbered. We have received an Assistance to Firefighters grant to help pay for this, and so we've got that grant money there. We need the budget amendment to move on with the project. And then item number 11 is the award of the grant for the company to do that. We sent out an RFP. We received bids back, and we've selected a contractor to perform the work at Station 1 and Station 2. So that's what we're asking for tonight, is the budget amendment and then the award of contract to go ahead and get that system started.
Chief, on the, so the, the fire, the exhaust system will not work on like the new ambulance and the new, you said another apparatus that it won't work with?
No, it's the system we have now is basically no longer working. The components of it are dying, and
Right. It's just outdated and needs
so
to
it's
be-
outdated and needs to be replaced.
How long did this last system last? Just
I believe it's been in about 15 years.
10 years? Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
You know, I think that's probably one of the best things they came up with. You know, used to, before we got that system, because I was on the fire department, you know, for 39 years, the walls inside the buildings were black from that diesel fumes. You can imagine breathing that every day. It's a health factor. And, I mean, it's the difference with night and day after they installed the first system, you know. And so, of course, I'm in favor of this. And I imagine everybody else is too. But I'm just letting you know what a good thing that is.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 11, award of contract exhaust system, fire stations 1 and 2, resolution number 18-013.
Approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
12.
Number 12, award of contract library carpet, resolution number 18-015.
Eric?
On the Public Works Director, Pat Hauber.
Good evening. In 2015, we took bids for replacing the carpet at the library, made a resolution, and right before it could come to council, we had to pull it because Parks and Rec suddenly had to move into the basement, or the lower level. So knowing that they were going to be gone this year to their own new facility, the library budgeted $110,000 for the replacement of the carpeting. On Tuesday, March 6, 2018, sealed bids were received. We received 3 bids ranging from $84,000 to $150,000. Staff reviewed the bids and qualifications of each bidder and determined that the lowest and best bidder was the one submitted by WJ Floor Products in the amount of $84,028 and 22 cents. I don't know why we put cents in there. I was the one who probably did it. Anyway, that's the budgeted amount was $110,000, and contingency is requested because the bidding is not a lump sum bidding for carpet. It's based on unit pricing per square yard, and there's a very good chance that we might go over that, but not a lot. But I am requesting $10,000 or a 10% contingency, so we don't have to stop and wait for a council meeting to amend the budget. But again, that would amount to total with the contingency $92,431, which is $17,500 and some, still less than the $110,000 that was budgeted. So, any questions?
You know, at the library board meeting last night, which I attended, you know, I talked about this, and I almost want to sell tickets to this event because if you go in the library, you know, the bookshelves are really big, and the weight I can't even imagine, but they got some way to pick those up and slide them out of the way when they put this carpet in. And I was just wondering if they were going to get their leak fixed before they get new carpet. I know you've been working on the leak they've had.
Yeah, the roofing company's been there and
Yeah.
working on it.
I think it leaked yesterday. Not as bad, but it's still leaking.
We're on it, though.
Okay, well, good. I just didn't want that new carpet next month to get wet.
Yeah.
How many square feet is that
Pardon?
building? How many square feet is that
Oh,
building, do you
gosh.
know, or?
I don't have
That's
that
the whole
information.
building upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bigger than I think, I guess.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? How many square feet?
The mayor asked you how many square.
Oh, well, I thought you had it there.
It doesn't have it there, it's just
Oh, just, yeah, okay.
That big.
that big.
That
That's
big.
it, right there, that big.
Okay,
Wow.
Say a whole bunch.
a whole bunch.
I wasn't gonna go.
Moving right along.
Number
13.
Number 13, Parks and Recreation Center, change order number 9, railing and lettering.
Eric,
Thank you, sir. I'll call on the city's building official, David Harris.
Mayor and council, this change order entails 2 items. Change order totals $2,305.38. The first item is to pay for the installation of lettering that was installed. Originally, the Park and Recreation Building's name was the North Kansas City Recreation Center. Later, it was determined that the name would be North Kansas City Parks and Recreation Center. The contractor installed the corrected additional lettering, which costs $654.45. So the contractor is asking to be reimbursed for that. The second item is to provide additional safety along the front entryway of the Park and Recreation Center. There is a drop-off approximately 17 inches that someone could fall over there. And so we've asked the contractor to give an estimate, and the estimate was for $1,650.93. So if you approve this, we will ask the contractor to install the guardrail. Have any questions?
Tom?
Eric, I have a question. This is change order number 9. Do we have a total of all the change orders?
Yes, sir.
What we have spent to date, just on change orders?
Yes.
Sir. It is in your packet. Total number of change orders, not of all, were for various different things, to date come to $70,149. That does leave a balance in the project of $5,919.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I think it's important that we make that building and that entryway safe. So,
I think the amount of seniors that go over there, that railing's needed. You know, when I went over there for their opening, I can see where it'd be needed. You know, everybody, the healthy people that don't have any problems walking, it's not needed. But a lot of seniors going to be going in there.
I have a question. I hesitate to ask this, but is there a bike rack planned outside of the building? Or can bikes just be chained to the railing?
There is an area to the south that is concrete that bike rack is planned to be installed there.
Okay, but not there yet.
No, it's not there
I was
yet.
looking for it, and I didn't know where I was supposed to put my bike. And it is right by Wheel Park, you know, so.
Yes,
It's
it is.
convenient for bikers. But I didn't want to spur another change order. I was a little afraid to bring that up.
Move to approve.
second.
Well, if they'd listened to me, they could have saved $600 and some on that sign, but. Okay, we got a second?
Yeah.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 14, amendment of agreement with Zerger and Maurer to handle appeal of legal matter. Resolution number 18-01.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 15, approving declaration of temporary construction easement, Armor Road redevelopment, third plat, Lot 4, Bill number 7281, ordinance number 9078.
Eric?
Thanks, sir. I'll call on Community Development Director Sarah Copeland.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. When our contract with Clarkson Construction for the installation of infrastructure improvements for Vernon and Diamond Parkway is complete, we will still have a little bit of infrastructure work left to do. Most of this work can't be done until Burger King has closed their existing store and relocated, because this is work that would impact their operations there. We need to extend a water line across their property. We need to finish the right turn taper. We'll need to remove their driveway on Taney. So we have a little bit of work that's still planned to happen. Most of the work that we're going to be doing will either be in existing right-of-way, or we have easements on Lot 4, which is next to Burger King, that would accommodate this work. However, there's a little bit of work in discussions with our engineer and with Clarkson Construction where we would need a temporary construction easement to facilitate entry into Lot 4 to complete this work. Lot 4, which is the lot adjacent to the existing Burger King, is getting ready to be transferred to the developer for development, which is an exciting milestone in the project. But it does mean that it is timely for us to dedicate this temporary construction easement prior to this property changing hands from city ownership to ownership by a third party, so that we don't have to acquire this temporary construction easement at some point in the future. So the declaration of temporary construction easement that's before you tonight would be to dedicate that easement on the westernmost part of Lot 4, a 10-foot temporary construction easement for future access by contractors working on behalf of the city for a period of 3 years. Our city councilor has been in touch with the attorneys for the developer of this lot, and they had no problems with this temporary construction easement. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing and approving a declaration of temporary construction easement within the Armour Road redevelopment area to allow for certain future infrastructure work for the city's redevelopment project.
I move that bill number 7281 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9078.
Second.
Call roll.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl? Yes. Councilmember Pierman?
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Stefan?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance authorizing and approving a declaration of temporary construction easement within the Armour Road redevelopment area to allow for certain future infrastructure work for the city's redevelopment project. Number 16, approving accounts due and payable by the city through March 16, 2018. Bill number 7282, ordinance number 9079.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through March 16, 2018.
I move that bill number 282 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9079.
Second.
Call roll.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl?
Yes.
Councilmember Pierman?
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Stefan?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through March 16, 2018.
Eric?
Thank you, sir. In your packet are several items, the upcoming city items of note, and YMCA monthly financial reports for January and February. We've noted, but just like to note for you to put on your calendars, the Harris Charitable Fund Breakfast will be on April 19th. So we'll be asking you at a future time if you're planning on attending. Would also note that our Board Appreciation Banquet is this Thursday night, 5:30 social hour, 6 o'clock dinner at Black on Burlington. If you haven't let the city clerk know that if you plan to attend, then please do let her know. I'd like to call on the Fire Chief, Dave Hargis, to make a report. This is regarding the status of our dispatch.
Yeah, just to let you know the status of our dispatch moving back to North Kansas City Police Department. We are looking at going live back with them around April 3rd. We already have training set up, scheduled with the dispatchers to put into some new things and get reacquainted with how everything's going to work. And so everything's on track right now to go back to them live on April 3rd. So if you have any questions.
Thank you, Chief. And I'd like to call on the Community Development Director, Sarah Copeland.
The Community Development Department uses a series of International Code Council codes for buildings, for property maintenance, for electrical, plumbing, and mechanical systems. The International Fire Code is part of the family of codes. And they update those codes more or less every 3 years. We are currently operating under the 2012 ICC codes. I think most jurisdictions in the metro are using 2012, and we're getting ready to start on the process of updating our codes to the 2018 codes. We will have our website under the Community Development Department section up by the end of the week to let people know and to give them information and overview of the changes between 2012 and 2018, and then notifying people who do business with us about this upcoming change. We anticipate using the month of April as a public comment period so that people can submit comments, questions, or concerns that they might have about the code updates, and then holding a public meeting later in May to discuss any changes and to take any other additional feedback. We hope to have the code update before you for adoption sometime this summer, and that gives us a chance to address any comments or concerns people have and to make sure that all of our ducks are in a row before this comes before you. If you have questions about what might be included in the code update, I know David Harris would be happy to answer any brief questions about this. We will have a lot more information available on our website. If you want to take the time to look through that and see what all the changes might be, you can take a look at that when it goes live. But we wanted to let you know about this before we start reaching out to property owners and businesses and developers here, that we're going to start working on this for this year.
Thanks, Sarah. That concludes staff reports, sir.
Can I ask you a question on that, staff? Go ahead. On the YMCA reports?
Yes, sir.
Is the hospital contribution included in one of those, January or February? I didn't see it, but that's not.
Yes, sir. I believe it's included in January.
January? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. DeLong.
All right. So this last week, I attended the National League of Cities City Conference with Zach Clevenger and attended a bunch of sessions, various topics from preemption, advocacy, communication engagement, smart technology, and gun violence roundtable discussion. I also attended the Transportation Infrastructure and Services Federal Advocacy Committee meeting, as well as a first-tier suburb steering committee meeting. And we also had a chance on the very last day to meet with Senator McCaskill and a member of Senator Blunt's staff. Our discussions were heavily focused on infrastructure needs around the metro, but in particular, we focused heavily on funding for the new Buckle Neal Bridge and how they could help on that. I also want to thank Chief Beamer for, as well as surrounding agencies that assisted with providing a safe atmosphere for the Snake Saturday Parade. And I heard 0 arrests, so good deal. And that's all I got.
The Snake Saturday Parade was awesome. We went, and thank you to Parks and Rec for helping with the stage. I got to sit next to the Grand Marshal. That was really fun. The kids got to see it. And I wanted to say thank you to the fire department for helping with the phones, switching the phones over. And that's it.
I agree with Snake Saturday, with what you've all said about Snake Saturday. It was great. It just amazes me every year how not that I do anything, I show up, but that you guys can put on that event and the police are there and the organization, there's really no issues, and it just really goes great every year. So and so much better this year on the weather. Whoever was in charge of that did a great job. Much better than last year. Also, on Thursday, we have, just as a reminder, you mentioned this before, the Board Appreciation Banquet, which I'm looking forward to. We have a lot of community members who are part of a lot of our boards, and we are very much appreciative of their time on those boards. And then also this weekend on Saturday, I think, that's the Bonanza. It's Saturday at 1 o'clock at Wagon Trails, yes, Dog Park, the dog park. the North Kansas City Dog Park. 1 o'clock on Saturday. And that's it.
I want to thank Chief Hargis and Danny Williams, the fire marshal, for a little bit of happiness they brought to my great-grandson today. He had the privilege of going down to the fire department and meeting a real fireman, and got to sit in a truck and got a little hat to wear. And he's nuts about trucks and things like that, and so he was just thrilled to death. He went home a happy boy, and it made me happy as his great-grandfather, and it made his mother, my granddaughter, happy. So you made a lot of people happy, and I love the fire department, and every time I've been down there, which is a lot of times, I've never met anything but courtesy and things that make you proud to be a citizen of North Kansas City and a part of our great public service. So thanks a lot, guys. That's all.
A couple things that I wanted to cover. Bryant covered most of it, though, on the National League of Cities Conference. We did get to meet with Senator McCaskill and someone from Senator Blunt's staff, and to talk about infrastructure and you know, protecting municipalities, basically, with legislation. So it was a very good conference, and enjoyed attending it. I heard that Snake Saturday went really well, and you know, the committee behind that, with Northland Festivals, they put in a lot of work. You know, they start meeting on every Monday in January to get this thing planned, and it's I've been to a few meetings, and it's very complicated, a lot of moving parts. So they did a great job with that, and I'm glad I heard Snake Saturday went very well. And I appreciate the audit being presented, and I'm glad that we got a clean audit as well. Just a reminder, we won't see y'all before April 3rd, so April 3rd is an election day, so make sure you get out there and vote. And vote early, vote often. Thank you.
I'd like to thank David Harris, and his staff maybe, on working with those people that got their house burnt, so, you know, down. Working with them, gave them time to find somebody to tear it down. I see that there's been a permit issued to demolish it, and I think they plan to build back in the same lot. So, and they appreciate all the help they got from you and your people. Like everybody, Wendy's is open again. Yep, it's open today. And let's see, I wanted to ask. Is there a time thing on Burger King starting their new one, or a ballpark?
No. We're working with them on the things that would be required before they can move forward.
Do you think it'd be in 2018?
We hope that it's this year, yes.
Oh, okay.
But there are some things outside of our control, outside of their control, that could hold them up. But we hope it to be this year.
Okay. And, you know, I got that email about no arrest on Snake Saturday. Me and Marilyn talked. What's the Irishman coming to? You know, we're going to be in Ireland in May. I'm going to have to bring that up to them. You know, but boy, it was a beautiful day. It really was, and it didn't last long, but it lasted for Snake Saturday. And I think everybody had a good time when whoever put it on our email where you could watch and move through the city.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of people here, wasn't there? So, anyway, thanks for all the staff that had anything to do with it. That's all I had.
Well, I think I just mentioned that I, too, thought that Snake Saturday was a very successful event. It's become, over the years, it's at the point now where it's very family-friendly. There seems to be very few, if any, issues involving police department and that sort of thing. And also, is it March 24th? I'll reiterate the dog owners ought to have a fun time down there at Wagon Park at 1 o'clock. That's it.
Just wanted, the trash service has been doing an exemplary job picking up the yard refuge. I mean, at least so far, so good. I mean, hopefully they keep up the good work. That's all I have.
Mayor, I forgot something. Can I say something? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot to thank Pat and the Public Works Department because I had to let them know last week that our alleys in Northgate are in a state of a little bit of disrepair over the years, just from people using de-icer and things like that on the alleys. And so he came and some staff, I think, and did an evaluation of our alleys and has a plan to make some repairs over the next year or two. So I appreciate that, and I'll let my neighbors all know that. But I want to thank you for getting on that. And I heard you were sick when I emailed you, and you still responded and told me what I needed to know. So I appreciate it.
He always responds. He's one of the best.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah, what else other than emails? Thank you for that.
Has the park department, I know there was a talk about having some kind of a volunteer group to come and help clean up the dog park a little bit. Has that gone anywhere, or?
I don't know, but I know Kelly was there today and she picked up 6 bags. But I don't know anymore. We supply the bags. I don't know. I think when the weather is really nice and warm, somebody get me a book and tandem bags as they come in.
Okay, that's all I got. Number 20.
Consideration of a request to hold and recess into an executive session as requested by the city administrator to be held on this date on a real estate matter pursuant to Missouri Revised Statutes, Section 610.0212.
So moved.
Second.
Wait a minute, who made the motion?
Yes.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl?
Yes.
Councilmember Pearman?
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Steffen?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes, ma'am. Hey, look, he already brought